So yeah, that's gonna be fun. I like doing physics. Physics are fun. Got myself a cup of coffee. Good morning. Okay. Also, my face might be angled slightly differently because I put my phone for tracking in a different position. Hiya! Thank you for subscribing. I appreciate it. Okay, so first, I think what we want to do is gravity. Okay, this is a good learning opportunity. So, let's discuss how we make gravity in Live2D. So, we want to make a new parameter called hair gravity. And it's going to be minus 30 to 30 because we want it to be the same as the head Z. Okay. So now what we want to do is grab the head Z, and you can see she has her head leaning to the side, but the hair looks really stiff like this. So we want this to give it natural gravity, right? So we grab all of the deformers that have the hair in it that we want to deform. Now for this model, it's very simple because we can leave the buns alone. So we just need the hair front. But if you have back hair that needs gravity, obviously grab that too. Then we make another deformer. We call it hair gravity. And then we bind it to hair gravity. So while she's leaning to this side, we slide the hair gravity to the minus 30 as well. And then we control page down. Now you can get to this as well from the modeling tab, and then temporary deformer, I think. Yeah, and then path deformer. But control page down is the shortcut for it. So we want to make a path start at the outside. I don't know if you need to, but I like to do this. Then you anchor one in. I'd like to anchor a second one in around here. And then over to the other side. And then we swish. I like to place one in the middle. Make sure this is straight. I think I need to make it a little bit longer. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. And then we swoosh over to the other side and do the same. One in the middle. Make sure that is straight. That looks straight enough to me. As you can see, this is bending, but we're gonna fix that. Okay. So what we want to do now is we want to take the selection tool at the top here. And then we want to select the top part that we don't want to deform. And then we Control-Shift-C and Control-Shift-V on both sides. Make sure that the top stays anchored in position. Okay, I'm gonna need to anchor a little bit more here. Because it's still not great. That might be a little bit too harsh. So I'm going to take the brush tool and I'm going to manually adjust that a little bit. Okay, that looks good. And what I want to do then is I want to press the 3 stripes up here. And then I want to press extended interpolation. We want eclipse and let's say 3 points. The more points you have, the harder it's gonna be on your RAM. So keep that in mind. But 3 is fine for this. So now we have a hair swing. It's 4 AM. Jeez, get some sleep. My brain's already fried. I cannot comprehend this sorcery. I mean, if you know how it works, it's not that complicated, I'd say. So, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go into physics settings. And we're going to create a new group. And we call this hair gravity. We do not want input settings. Physics model preset. I have a preset for this. And if I make this into a tutorial on my YouTube channel, just copy my settings, I guess, or tweak it, you know, but this is my settings. Duration 30, shaking influence 0.75, reaction time 1, and convergence 1.5. So then we add for the inputs the angle Z. And we want to put the effect on 100. And then we want the angle to be the maximum it can be. So I like to put it on -60 to 60. And then for the output, we add hair gravity. Now we wiggle this around a little. And then we increase output. As you can see, there is gravity going on now. I can see it falls a little bit short on one end, so we need to fix that also, decrease output on that. And then I like to put the scale a little bit lower so it never gets over 100, because that's when it starts to become jumpy. Okay, so we can see that it falls a little bit short on this side. So I'm taking the brush tool, and I'm going to increase the length on that. There's probably better ways to do that, but brush tool is just kind of the default that I go to because it's the easiest. Okay, so now we have hair gravity, and I do like to tone it down on the effectiveness a little usually. So let's say effectiveness 80. Also, if you have the body Z in and you like to reflect the body Z, which I usually do, the effectiveness of this is going to have to be 50 at the maximum. So just keep that in mind. But you're gonna have to tweak that. And this looks good. I like this. This is good gravity. So yeah, if this makes it to a YouTube tutorial, thank you for watching. But we are live now, so we're gonna do more than this. Okay, so that is that out of the way. Looks good, thank you. I like to do hair gravity, otherwise like the hair looks really stiff. Okay, where do we start? I guess with the halo. Halo X. This is physics. Halo X. Do we blend shape? I don't think we need to blend shape here. Okay, Halo X. And then we want to say Halo Y. By By the way, it's been a while since I've worked on a chibi model. It's actually really refreshing. Okay. Now let's see, because I already did the movement of the halo on the head movement. As you can see, the halo moves. That is very laggy. Don't mind the lag. But the halo moves. So what I want to do is I want to put the movement on the halo on the angle X and Y on a different physics parameter, so it kind of lags behind a little bit. So it really gets that floaty effect. I always wondered how a blueprint looks like for a 2D model before rigging. It's hard for me to remember what an artist should keep in mind before giving a model to a rigger. Everything that moves needs to be separated. That is the very basic of it. Every layer that needs to move needs to be separated. And this is why I always advise people who draw VTuber models to actually look at how rigging works. Like, look at a few rigging videos, maybe even try it yourself, you know? Just know how things work, and then you will know how things need to be separated, if that makes sense. I can imagine the amount of layers. It depends. It depends on the model. Some are over 1,000 layers. The more complex models are over 1,000 layers. But I've had models with like 500 layers. Some of them aren't that bad. $1,000 layers, yeah. That's not that uncommon. This is why VTubers are expensive. Because we have so much to work with. But yeah, okay, let me just grab all of these. Ooh, not that one, I suppose. And that one. I will separate this and I will change this to, where is it? Halo X. And then I select these and I change this to Halo Y. Okay. So now the halo doesn't move with the head, but it moves on its own parameter. That's why I respect them so much. Yeah, it is crazy. It is crazy. The amount of layers I don't really realize how many layers a VTuber model has, if that makes sense. I rig every single day. So I stare at layers, but it's not like, oh, that's an insane amount. This is like, oh, okay, it's a VTuber model, this is what I need to do. You know? I don't know if that makes sense, but I don't really notice the layers anymore. Okay, let's see, physics. So we want to add the halo. And I want to give this a delayed effect. Do I have anything on a delay here? I do. I do have a delay preset. Good. And then we take angle X on angle effectiveness 100. Angle 60. Output settings. And then we take halo X. And then we increase. I want to turn this down a little bit. And as you can see, there's a little bit of a delay in this, so it makes it more floaty. Makes sense, right? You've been doing this for 5 years now. It's crazy. Epic to see your art evolve. Yeah. Yeah, I've been at this for a while. I think I started in October 2020. It's either October or November. Yeah, so if you put things on a different like physics parameter, like you can make it move with a delay, which is usually like gives really great effects. So I actually want to do the same. Okay, group editing. I need to rename this because this is Halo X. Okay, and then I want to duplicate this and say Halo Y. And this is angle Y, and the output is Halo Y. And the Y is on a delay as well. I think I want to put the Z on a delay too, actually. But I don't know what I'm gonna do about the side crystals. They might have like a bit of a floaty effect. I think that's what I'm gonna do with that. Okay, I'm gonna save this. Oh. I forgot to activate my timer on this. That is okay. I will do it now. Okay. Oop, let me bring all of my windows up again. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I use timers for my work so I can keep track of how many hours it takes me to get a model done. Usually it's around 20 to 30. Yeah. Hi, welcome to the stream. Okay. So, I think I'm gonna put the Z on a different one as well. So I want to take this out of the head deformer. Oh, okay. I forgot to copy something. That is interesting. That sure is interesting. I forgot to copy something over. These two. Change to Halo X. There we go. Because, okay, so the thing is, these have to move to the back, right? And you need 2 layers for that. So what's happening here is when it moves to the back, you can see the back layer coming out and the front layer getting smaller and then fading. But this happens fairly fast in movement, so you don't notice it. But that is how we do that. Because it's 2D, you have to account for those things. Because it's not gonna spin in full 3D, it's literally 2D layers. You have to make it look 3D. That's hella cool, thank you! Okay, so now we want Halo Z. Okay. And then we take this And when the head goes that direction, the halo spins with it. And then we can just reflect motion on that. And I want to do extended interpolation for this as well. Say 3. Okay. So we go to physics and we say halo Z. And we put this on angle Z. And then we change the output settings as well. And now it's floating with the Z as well. So we got very floaty physics on the halo. All right. Looks smooth, thank you. Then we want to say halo floats. And I think I want to make this a -10 to 10. And we want to create a new deformer for that. On top of all of the other deformers, because this one takes priority. And then we move this up. And then we move this down. So we have a floating motion to that. I want to take the crystals as well. And I want to say crystals float. That's another -10 to 10. And then we do the same for this. We move them up and we move them down. Now, I'm gonna try something on this. And I hope it's gonna look good, but I'm not actually sure. Let's call this float physics. And then I want to do the double pendulum breathing input on this. So we take a breathing angle 100. And then on output settings, we take both the halo and the crystals, and they are on a pendulum. And then we increase. That is very aggressive. that is very aggressive floating. Let me turn this down to make sure that doesn't go over 100, but also the effectiveness needs to go down because that is too aggressive. Let's turn this down even further. Okay. I kind of like this. And then it still floats. As we change angles. But this gives it like that really nice floating effect. Okay. I think that looks good. It's good to me as well. Cool. And the crystals don't really change with the angle, but I think that's okay. I think they don't need to. Okay. Let's see. And now I think we can work on the hair physics. Let's see. Okay, so we want to go to hair, which is all the way at the bottom, because it's usually just a lot. And we want to start on the physics here. I'm pretty sure this is bound. Yeah, it is. Okay. So we want to say hair front 1 X 1 2. Okay. Physics hair front 1 X 1. Make sure this is -30 to 30, and we blend shape on that. And then let's make a deformer for this real quick so I can find where this deformer is, because I have a lot of deformers. I have a habit of making too many deformers. And then X2. And then we want Y1. And Y2. And then this side. So that is hair front 2 X1. Okay, replicate that. X2. Y1. And Y2. And let's make a deformer for this one. Then we bind this so I can find it later. And we have the hair sides. I'm gonna do physics for the buns as well, but let's tackle the front of the hair first, I think. Okay. This is hair sides left, because it's the character's left, my right. X1. Physics hair sides left. X1. Let's create a deformer for this so I can find it. Deformers layers in disguise. That's a good one. There's a lot of them though. Like it's stupid how many deformers there are. Like I'm just working on the head. Everything else not done yet. No deformers yet. And it's already a lot. Like at some point I can't even find where I put certain deformers, and it's like, okay, well, I'm just gonna go to the right parameter and then select the deformers in that parameter and then find them from that list. And then we have hair side right, X1. And then we bind this. And I don't know if I'm gonna use this, but we'll see, I suppose. Then X2. I might actually do 3 on this. Hold on. I think I might do 3 on this. Y1. Replicate. Y2. Replicate. Y3. Okay. Yeah, let's do 3 on this. X3. Replicate. Y3. There we go. And then I'll do the buns in a second. They're probably gonna be on a different physics group anyway. Hi Hatsu, welcome to the stream. Okay, we anchor that. Then we move it to the side. I don't want any dramatic movements on this, I think. Just a little subtle bounce. And then we take the end and we swing it. Do the same to the other side. Swing this over. And then interpolation, eclipse 3. Okay, good. And then for the Y, we're gonna move this up. And out. And we're gonna move this down. And in. And then the end, gonna move this up. And move it down. Okay. And then we have to anchor the top here. Make sure that doesn't move. And then we take it a bit further. Copy, paste. Okay, that's one strand done. So this is a very limited amount of hair layers, as you can imagine. Usually there's like 5 times this amount. It is slightly crazy. Oh, I didn't see the stretch. Thank you. And I did just hydrate. I have coffee. Okay. Yee, coffee. I also have energy drinks if I run out of coffee. I'm gonna swing this to the side. And we're gonna do the same on this. Gonna swing this over. And swing it over. And let's see. I could swing it over a little bit further, to be fair. Ooh. Make sure that that doesn't happen. Okay. That is fine. Up. And then up. And down. Up. And pull this down. Okay. Let's put some extended interpolation on that too. And now we anchor the roots. Make sure that doesn't become floaty at the top there. Okay. And then we take the hair at the side. Anchor that down. 1, 2, 3. I cannot make the swing too big on that because I need to account for the fact that there are horns here. So I can't go past them. But I can make it a big swing on this one. We have the freedom to do big swings on that. Just gotta be careful around the horns, basically. And the face, apparently. I can make kind of big swings. Kind of. Big swings to one side. Okay, and definitely extended interpolation on that. And the top is not doing too well, but I'm gonna anchor that down. Okay. And then down. Ooh. Make sure that doesn't go past the horn. Up. And down on that. And then this one. Goes up. And down. Okay. And now we anchor this. And then we anchor this down further. Oh, that's too far. Let's make that a little bit softer there. Yeah, that's better. Okay. And then we gotta anchor down to the tip. Okay. And then the other side. Let's see. Anchor that down. But we want that to move. And then here, and then here. So we move that over a little. And then to this side. And I'm gonna have to tweak this probably because it's not gonna look good on the first try. But that's okay. We're getting the basic movements down. We can do big dramatic swings at the end here, because I don't have to account for anything being in the way of those swings. Interpolation, eclipse. Ooh. Can put that down to 3. Cool, okay. And then we just have to do the Y parameters on the hair physics here. And then up. And down. Up. And down. Okay. And then anchor this. Then we anchor it a little bit further in. And then we make sure only the tip moves. There we go. Okay, and now we can check this in physics settings. Add hair X. We're gonna take head inputs and then hair custom. Can delete this, put this on 100. This doesn't need to change. And then we take all of the X parameters. And then we assign the correct pendulum to them. Okay. I was expecting there to be more, just instinctively, but there wasn't. Let's make sure this is the maximum output. So I don't ever want this to go over 100. And then we increase, and then we turn it down. This is 25, 22. $14, 25, 22, 14. There we go. Okay. And this is what the hair looks like. It is very subtle, but that's because I just don't ever want it to go like over the horns. But I think this looks good. I think there's a good swing to this. And you can see, like, at the ends here, the swing becomes more dramatic, which is what the hair would usually look like if I didn't have any restrictors on it. But I think this looks good the way it is. And then I want to duplicate this and say hair Y. And then we change to angle Y and delete angle Z. And then we change all of these to the Y parameters, which it does automatically because I put in the IDs for everything. There we go. And then this is what it looks like on the Y parameter. Nice and flowy. Yeah, it looks more natural. I'm still going for a little bit of a dramatic effect. But it's more subtle on this model, yeah. Because as you can see, even with the Y bounce, like the horns are definitely in the way. But it's good, it's fine. I like this. Okay, cool. Now, I'm gonna take a small break from rigging. And then I'm gonna do the buns. Because the buns are gonna be fun to do as well. I always appreciate it when the artists draw the buns in like different layers. Because there's so much more for me to work with. For example, even on like the head angles, if you can see, it's very hard to notice, but all of the layers do move on their own, like independently. Same with up and down, like the layers move independently. And the reason why it's sorry. The reason why it's hard to notice is because it looks natural. If you notice it, you might have overdone it. You know? But it's very hard to actually see if you've overdone it when you're rigging, because you can see the before and after. So that's kind of hard to see sometimes. But yeah, the layers on the buns move independently, which I like doing because it creates a better perspective. I need to stretch real quick because I have been sitting in shrimp position this entire time. Oh, hi bunny. Hello. My bunnies are very clingy and they're constantly sitting at my feet. By the way, unrelated, but I keep my coffee in a thermal cup and it's really nice because I definitely forget to hydrate when I'm working. So keeping it in a thermal cup means that my coffee stays hot for hours. So I can still have hot coffee even when I'm hours into my work. I definitely recommend getting a thermal cup for coffee. If you're doing things where you just kind of lose track of time. Because otherwise, like, I used to have it in like a normal cup, but then the coffee would get cold so fast. So I'd have to throw half of it away. But I don't have that problem with the thermal cup. Okay. I am going to work on the buns now. So, let's get out of the hair gravity. Change the name on that. Okay. I've got a bunch of warp deformers here. So as you can see, these are the layers. And I am going to use all of them individually. How do we feel about a double pendulum physics settings? I'm thinking double pendulum. Phys an L1 X1 blend shape. Replicate X2 Y1 Y2. And the reason why I'm adjusting the ID as well is, as I said, because Live2D can like automatically change from X to Y on the parameters if I do that. So it just saves time. Okay. This isn't bound to anything else. No, it's not. Okay. Just making sure. Making sure it's only bound to this. Oop. Where did that go? Here. Okay. L2 X1 L2 X1 bind that so I don't lose it. Replicate X2 replicate Y1. By the way, this is most of Live2D rigging. It is not flashy for the most part. It's just putting in parameters. The actual deforming itself is only half the work. So people were like, oh, Live2D seems fun. Well, it is, but also but also it isn't. Let's see, L3, X1, L3, X1. Live2D's for masochists. No, it's fun. It's fun. It's just very technical, you know? It's very technical. X2. Y1. Replicate. Y2. And I think I want to grab this and bind this to X2 so I can have a little bit of a wiggle on the end of the swing. And then we grab this part. L4, so we have 4 parts in total, 5 actually, we have 5 parts in total, but 4 for the sake of the physics. X1. And we put that in here. Replicate. X2. Y1. Y2. So I think the way naming works, and I could be wrong here, because I don't actually know this for sure, but I think the way the naming of the ID works, if you put X and Y in the ID, Live2D will recognize that. and everything after the X or Y will be matched up with its counterpart. I think that's how it works. So x1, for example, will be matched with y1. x2 will be matched with y2. Okay. And now we do the other sides. Yay! Let me check just to be sure. Okay. R1, X1, R1, X1. And then we created the former. Then we put that on here. We replicate that. X2, Y1. By the way, I have seen people rig hair physics on a single parameter, and it honestly just makes my soul hurt. Because, like, you need so many parameters. Also, for the pendulum. Like, you cannot just put it on a single pendulum, please. The hair's supposed to swing. But yeah, I've seen that, and it just... I don't understand it. I'm sure I did that too when I first started, to be fair. I'm sure I did that too. I am sure that I didn't know that either. But now that I do, it just hurts, you know? Okay, replicate. There's a lot that goes into Live2D. Especially when you've used it for a while and you've actually learned how things work, more and more starts adding up. Okay, let's take these two. Three. X1, 3x1, replicate x2, and for the x2, I want this. And then we replicate and we say y1. Y2. And then the last part is R4, X1, replicates X2, I feel like because I use Live2D so much, a lot of this is just routine for me. Like, I know how to do this. I do this every single time. This isn't that difficult for me, which is good. You know, I do like that I have to spend less time thinking about what I'm doing, but it's probably not good in a sense that I don't know if I'm like missing anything if I just do things. I don't know if that makes sense. This is gonna be nice and bouncy, by the way. And then we up. And down. And this is what we're doing for the entire thing. There's not much else for me to explain about this, I think. I think this is fairly straightforward. Because I'm literally just using the path deformation tool. I should probably anchor all of this as well. But I will get there when I get there. I just want to get through this right now. Okay, and then we push this in. And then we grab this. And I think I can just use the brush tool for this. Because all we want to do is give this a bit of a swing. There we go. Very simple, very easy. But it's gonna make a difference. And then we go up. And down. All of these movements are fairly subtle, so I might want to get another deformer in place to exaggerate these movements a little bit further. But I will get there when I get there. Okay, for this, probably just gonna keep using the brush tool. because this is another simple swing. Up and down. And then we make this smaller and we take the middle, we go up and down on just the middle part. Remember to save, you are right. I don't think it's gonna crash. I think my RAM is still in the clear, but you're right. Okay. Now let's anchor all of this, because you don't really see what's going on, but it's better to just anchor anyway. Okay, hold on. I want this to be deformed on the Y2 as well. I forgot. Ooh, that's not good. There we go. Okay. And then this doesn't need to be anchored because I did that manually. Okay, now we do this side. And this is all fairly standard still. Move that up. And move that down. It's gonna look probably pretty decent in movement. But like I said, I might need to make an extra parameter just to make it a little bit more dramatic, because these are fairly subtle movements. Oh, we move to this side. And then this side. and then up. So just, you know, some small bit of information. The more layers are separated, the easier it is for a Live2D rigger to work with. Because the bun is separated like this, yes, it is more work for me than if it was just one solid layer. However, it does feel a lot more satisfying for me. Because I can actually like make the good movements with more separated layers, which I always appreciate. Okay, let's make sure there's no gap there. But it's the same with a lot of models that I see. Don't have the fingers separated. They have the hands separated, but like not the fingers. And while I can still rig it, it looks better when the fingers are separated, because I can give them finger physics. So I guess the level of detail on the rig depends on like the separation of the model, if that makes sense. It basically goes hand in hand. You can have the best rigger in the world, but it still wouldn't look amazing if the layers aren't separated properly, you know? Finger physics on the face sounds weird at first. Finger physics on the fingers. Okay, now we move this. Got confused for a moment. It happens. It happens. That is my bad. But yeah. The more the layers are separated, the easier it is for riggers to make something good out of it, is my point. Okay, I think that's done. I need to anchor all of that. Oh, I forgot. Let's do that real quick. Although I think this would look fine without anchoring, I'll still do it. Just in case. Okay. And that is it, I think. So let's save that. Now we go into settings. And we say buns X. I think I'm still gonna throw it on hair custom, but I might change a few things in the pendulum settings. Okay, so now we take all of the X parameters again. There we go. And then we make sure those are bound on the correct pendulum. And then we wiggle this around. But I might, like I said, change a few things around on the settings. 'Cause this might not be the best. Oh, actually, I kind of like how soft the bounce is on it. I actually kind of like that. Okay, cool. 25, 22, 25, 22. Can I just select all of these? Admittedly, I usually don't do this, so I don't actually know if this will work. No, it doesn't. Unfortunate. So I need to still put those on 22 manually. That's okay. I only have to do half of them. Okay. Is that helping you at all? Ah, thank you for the sub. I appreciate it. Ooh. Let me just stretch real quick. I like the flow of this. Yeah. Looks good. Also, when it's actually tracking movements, the hair is gonna move a lot less. That's just one of the things that it does. So we need to account for that as well. So I might need to still make it a little bit more dramatic. Okay, let's switch to buns Y, angle Y. Oh, thank you for the hug. And then we switch everything over to the Y parameters. And this is how that looks. Which is really cute. Okay, so now I'm going to do something just to test. Hold on. External application. Okay, so now she moves when I move. And as you can see, the buns barely do anything. So I want to make these buns a little bit bouncier. So external application, we're turning that off. I really like that Live2D function, by the way, that I can just link VTube Studio directly to Live2D when I have to test it, you know. Because we used to have to export the file, test it in our tracking software, and then load the file back up and just try to adjust. But now we can see in real time how it looks when it's tracking. No more exporting files. Okay, so I do want the buns to be a little bit more bouncy. So what I'm going to do is bun L x1, bun L x1, x2. We're gonna add to the overall movement. Thank you for this stretch and hydrate. I'm getting the notifications a little bit late, but that's okay. It's because I'm streaming on both Twitch and YouTube, so everything is late from both sides. Okay, let's do Y2. And what I want to do is I want to take all of these, make a new deformer, and place that in here. And we're gonna do the same on the other side. So we're gonna say bun R x1, bun R x1. Yeah, I noticed it's weird seeing this on two platforms at the same time. I figured it would be good, you know, to multi-stream, because some people don't like watching on Twitch. Some people don't like watching on YouTube, so just give people options, I suppose. Oh, Y1. Replicate Y2. Okay. Now we take all of these, create, and we put that here. So what I want to do with this is I want to make a dramatic movement. And the best way to make dramatic movement is doubling up on physics. So this is X, so we are pushing to the side. And this doesn't have to be precise. This is literally just to give it extra movement. Just to make sure that things are adequately moving in tracking. Up, down. By the way, you see the distortion that's happening at the bottom there? This is why this absolutely needs to be separated, because otherwise I have to fix that manually. Which isn't great. I don't enjoy that. Okay. Now let's anchor that. And then we do the same on this side. Like I said, this doesn't have to look clean. This is just for extra movement. I'm probably going to turn the effectiveness of this down anyway, so that the main physics can shine, but we still have the extra bounce. Okay. Let's move this down. Move this up. And move this down. And then we anchor. Oh. Copy. Okay, let's see how that looks. So we're going into Buns X and we add the X. 1, 2, 1, 2. 25, 22, 25, 22. As you can see, a lot more bounce. Let's turn the effectiveness of this down to 70. Okay, that's a lot better. And now we do the same on the Y. We add the Y parameters that we just created, assign them to the correct pendulum. Scale 25, 22, 25, 22. And let's put these down to 70 as well. I haven't seen how it looks yet, but might have to turn those down even further because usually the Y is a little bit more sensitive. The Y is more sensitive. Okay, yeah, let's turn that down a little bit further. Say 60. Okay, I like how that looks. Now let's see how it looks in tracking. Okay, I like the bounce to it. It's a very subtle bounce, but it's definitely there. I do like how that looks. Also, as you can see, I already did the eyes and the mouth. So this is not V-Bridger, by the way. Like the chibi that I'm rigging right now, not V-Bridger. But I like the way the face moves. The face has very expressive motions to it, even without V-Bridger. So I like how that moves. Oh, I want to do the ears. Okay, let me turn this off. There we go. Let's see, where are the ears? Here they are. Here's one. And here's two. We're not going to separate these by X and Y, because they are going to have the same physics group anyway. Okay. Let's make this a little bit subtle. We don't want it to be too much. And then extended interpolation on this. And then anchor, because we don't want the base of the ear to move at all. Copy. Okay, cool. And then the other side, we're gonna do the same. We're going to grab the ear. We're going to ever so slightly adjust this. Hold up. Reflect that. There we go. Cool, okay. And then we do this. And this. And then extended interpolation, eclipse 3. Yep, that's about right. And then we make sure the base does not move. Because we just want it to be a little bit of wiggle physics for the ears. Make sure that is fine, and we save that. And then we say ears. And let's do standard double pendulum. So for this, I want angle Y and then angle X. And this can go to 100. There we go. Okay. And then we add, oh, where is it? Here. 1 and 2, and then we swing it around. Increase outputs. We're going to take this down to 33. We're going to take this down to 28. And might have been too low. 29. Yeah. Okay, and that is too much. That is clearly too much swing. So let's turn the effectiveness down. And we can put it down from here as well. I mean, it looks good on the X, so the Y needs to be dropped down a bit. Okay, I like this. Subtle enough. Very cute. Okay, and this is what she looks like. We got some subtle physics. I do really like how she looks right now. It looks smooth, it looks bouncy, and it's not too much. It is very subtle. Yeah, I like how she looks. Okay. Yay. I think this is gonna be it for today's stream. I have a different project to work on as well. Yep, I just saved. We're good, we're good. I always save before I open the physics window. I don't know why. I guess I just expect it to crash when I try to open the physics. It never does. But what if it does, you know? But yeah, I think I am going to end it here. So I hope you enjoyed. And I will see you next time. Bye, guys!